If you are looking for an asymmetric game that you can play with the whole family, stay tuned because we have a game to tell you about. Hi everyone, I'm Sarah.
I'm Drew.
I'm Emma. And I'm Hazen.
We are the Andersons, and we are back with another full family review for Let's Table It. Today we're talking about
Amoebunnies, a game for 2 to 6 players.
Designed by Jamie Brown
and published by Ron Cauldron.
Let's take a quick look at how it plays.
Amoebunnies is a family-weight asymmetric game where each player is an amoebunny with a different goal and ability. Cam is trying to merge all of his pieces together into one mega stack. Sari is hiding 14 of her gifts around the board. Roy is delivering flowers to the birds, bees, and butterflies. Violet is researching different elements and trying to get samples of each color. Midori is traveling across all the colors of pathways to collect rainbows. Sunil is gathering all 6 pigment colors for his palette. Each character has different methods of movement and special abilities like burrowing and placing obstacles on the board for their opponents. With randomized placement via location cards and a deck of ever-changing color cards, no 2 games will ever be the same.
Okay, Andersons, what did we think of Amoebunnies?
I thought that the art is pretty cute. I know I always say that.
But it's true. This art is really adorable. The colors are nice and bright. It's really aesthetically pleasing.
Pastels, too.
Mm-hmm.
I also like that it shows you how hard it is on each one.
Yes. So each character is asymmetric.
Yep.
So we all have our own goals while we're playing. And what Hazen's talking about is each character comes with a card. And it's actually like a little booklet that folds out, and it tells you what your goals are, what your special actions are, gives you some like strategy hints and tips. And so that was super nice for all of us to have that on our own to look at.
Yeah. I think the great thing too is you have that asymmetry, but the complexity level for each character is different. So age-wise and things like this, it just really plays well for that.
Yes, I think some could consider them a little unbalanced, but for a family that has young kids, sometimes that's good because then you can have those easier characters for your less experienced players, and your more experienced players can still have that challenge and not just take over the game because it's too easy for everybody. So that was really nice. I did like that.
And it's 10 plus, but we were still able to have Hazen play because of the easier powers.
Yes. So Hazen did play Cam, which was the easiest, I believe. Emma played Violet, which is one of the more complex ones, but she still played independently. She did really well. On our family play, I played Midori, and then on our 2-player game, I played Violet.
Yes. And I played Roy on our 2-player, and then I played Sari on the family play.
Yes. And so, do you remember what your goal was?
Yes, I had to get all my guys together in one stack.
Yes, so Cam starts all over the board with different meeples all over the board, and the goal is to get them all together in one stack. Do you remember what yours was?
Yeah, I had to collect particles, and all of our I had to collect particles and little samples. But all of our meeples are so cute.
Yes.
And Cam had so many of them.
Yes. And Violet has a special ability that can burrow, so she can get around the board a little bit easier.
Yep.
And what were yours?
Sari was basically trying to give gifts. Quite a few of them, too. So it definitely, even if you had luck of the draw on a few, it definitely felt like you were trying to race around a lot. Let's see, Roy, I'm trying to remember.
That was more of a pick up and deliver.
Yeah, it was a pick up and deliver for that one, but really unique for all of them.
And then I played as Violet, which Emma already talked about, and Midori was trying to go over different colors of paths. So once they got to go through all of the colors, they got to flip a rainbow token, and then they had to do that again. So there are definitely different difficulties for sure, but it was enjoyable.
I like that you can use other people's powers, but you have to pay them. Like, somebody could use my burrows to get all the way across the map, but they'd have to pay me. Was it a card?
Yeah, and it was the same for Sari with the gifts. Both sides got something, and that was kind of nice, too, because you had some player interaction if you wanted, but it wasn't required. It wasn't something that was, upfront and, you had to be going at each other. which I think is another reason this is really good for family play. But I think it's also good for introductory into just that little bit heavier. You know, people that are used to games like, you know, Clue or Sorry or whatever. This is, you know, taking
just
it up
a
that
little
much.
step towards more hobby games.
Yeah, I think so often we kind of forget. We talk about, you know, intro level games, but good for both families and somebody you want to kind of introduce to the hobby.
Well, Drew was talking about that player interaction aspect of the game. Hazen and my characters actually did have some things that could be a little bit mean. Cam could put splats on the board, and so you would have to pay him to be able to go through those. And I had the same thing. I had some little, I can't remember what they were called, but they were little green pieces that I could put on the board, and then you would have to pay to remove them before you could go through.
And
So
Cam is 4 tall. You can't go through his space, which I found very frustrating.
Yes.
I wouldn't have won anyways.
But so there are some things that you could construe as being a little bit mean. But I think if you're playing with the spirit of everyone's playing their own game, not necessarily trying to go after one person, then that's fine for families still. Yeah.
We had talked a little bit because I think a lot of people had started to kind of compare this to kind of an easier version of Root. But I think because the player interaction is so much more limited, I don't see that.
Yeah. That was something when I first heard about Amoebunnies, that was the comparison. It's a lighter version of Root. And I was maybe, this is maybe my little negative, I was maybe expecting a little bit more as far as complexity in the game. It is very light. Like I said, Emma's 10. She played one of the hardest characters and was very successful with it. So if you are expecting that just like notch down from Root that you can play with your family, I think you might be a little bit disappointed in Amoebunnies.
Yeah.
But if you go into it just knowing it's an asymmetric game for the family and it's light, then I think you'll be very pleased with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's just it. You have to go in with that mindset that this is for ages, you know, it says 10 plus, but it probably could be, if your kids are used to playing games, 8 plus, you know, probably without a problem. And knowing that, then, you know, like we said, it kind of with that mindset.
Yeah. Definitely. Did you have anything you didn't like about it?
Sometimes it was a bit hard because I had to pay, like, cards to get them and stuff.
Yes, so cards are your main resource in the game, and they can be, depending on your character, they can be very hard to come by. And so, I felt like Sorry had a big advantage because they could draw 2 cards every turn. My character, Midori, was able to, if they didn't have any cards in their hand, could draw once a turn, draw an extra card. And so some of those characters have that, but Cam really didn't have that. So only getting 1 card a turn when maybe you're trying to play 2 or 3 cards on your turn. That was kind of hard.
Saying that, Cam did win.
That's true.
So, you know, I think maybe it's that way to try to level that out. So.
Could be. For me, it was really hard for me because I had to get the particles. I had to get exact cards.
And that's a little lucky.
Yeah.
Yep.
Emma had some tough draws where about 3 times in a row she didn't get the one color that she needed. And so there's a little luck to it.
Yeah. Luck
and strategy balanced out, I think. So, yeah. I think that kind of covers our opinion on it. Do you guys have anything else you want to say?
Just a nice light game.
Yeah, great intro family game. Again, to get that asymmetric feel and things like that, so that when you do, you know, because honestly, I think this could intro you to even things like Forbidden Desert, Forbidden Island, since you do have some asymmetry in those games. Granted, just small. You know, this kind of goes a little bit different.
Yes, yeah, and it, you know, those games that you mentioned are cooperative, where you're all working together, and so maybe you're taking that a step further now. Everyone has different abilities, different goals, but we're working against each other.
Right.
So definitely good to see that.
I want to see what it's like at 6 players. That might be fun.
Yes, I guess we should talk about that.
Yeah.
Drew and I did play at 2 players, and then we played as a family at 4, and we much preferred our play at 4. At 2, it just seemed a little formulaic. Like, we weren't getting in each other's way at all. It was just like, play your card and move. But when we played at 4, there was a lot more going on, a lot more obstacles, a lot more people and things to move around, and so...
Yeah, I could definitely see a 5 or 6... it picking up just that much more. And probably, my guess would be somewhere between 4 to 5, 4 to 6 is probably the sweet spot.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah. Okay. Does that cover it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, this has been another full family review for Let's Table It. Amoebunnies is coming to Kickstarter on October 22nd. We will be sure to link to that campaign so you can stay updated on all it has to offer. Thanks to Ron Cauldron for sending us a copy of Amoebunnies for review purposes. And make sure you're subscribed to Let's Table It for more board gaming content. And if you want to follow our family's day-to-day gaming adventures, you can find us on Instagram at Sarah Always Loses. Thanks for watching.